Welcome to week 19 of the habit building program. Today we will begin our habit number 9, which is mealtime rituals, and this is our awareness week. As always, let's get started with presence pause and breath regulation that I'm going to guide you through. I request you to please be seated in a comfortable position and, if possible, close your eyes. Let's start by bringing our awareness to our breath. Just notice your breath without trying to change anything. Now move your attention to your stomach. Notice any sensations in your stomach without judging them or labeling them. Now shift your attention to your feet. And be present with any sensations on your feet. Now bring your awareness to your posture. Do not correct it. Just observe your posture. Now observe what's running on your mind. Without engaging with your thoughts, just notice what's running on your mind. Now, how alert or tired do you feel in your body? How alert or tired do you feel in your body? And where do you feel it in your body? Where do you feel it in your body? Let's take 3 deep breaths. Inhale, 1, 2, 3, 4. Exhale, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Inhale, 1, 2, 3, 4. Exhale, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Inhale, 1, 2, 3, 4. Exhale, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Be present with how you're feeling for a couple seconds. And now gently open your eyes if you had them closed. Right. So before we begin talking about today's habit, I invite you all to do a quick habits check-in as to how you're progressing with all of the previous habits. We've covered 8 habits so far. We have 2 more habits left for our program. So out of the 8 habits, take a moment to reflect on how you've been implementing these, to what extent and how you can progress on these. And if you're lagging behind, it's great time to pick a new habit up and make sure that you are consistent with these habits, and also no pressure. You can take it at your own pace. So just gentle invite to reflect on your progress. If anyone would like to share or have any questions about any of the previous habits, please feel free to raise your hand or share your questions here.
Yeah, I have a question regarding exercise routine.
Sure.
As discussed, you have been telling that during the different phases of the month,
Yeah.
usually in the yoga class, what happens, they'll be having their own routine. So
Yeah.
they don't go by our routine.
Mm-hmm.
So weekly, how they have their routine, they'll be going by it. So what can we do on that?
That's a great question. This is something common we all face. Like we have our, when we are signed up for classes,
Mm.
generally the classes don't follow our rhythm. So the best thing to do is opt in and out of it based on your energy level. Say during your menstruation time, many yoga teachers even say that it's completely okay to do yoga during your menstruation time, but listen to your body and it's your best judgment. Make your call as to whether you want to whether you're up for that day's program or not, and maybe you can do a gentler form of stretching or yoga at home on during the menstruation days, or even it's I mean, I personally skip exercise during menstruation days and get more rest, but listen to your body. And on days where you think you can exert yourself more, if the classes are they satisfy or meet your needs, those days you can go to them and also like do some extra strengthening after your yoga class. So you can, customize it to what you require while still attending classes. So I would say that. And also the intensity with which you adapt the exercises can also change. Say, if a pose is expected to be held for uh, a minute or so, if you're not feeling up for it, you can do half a minute instead. So, talk to your teacher and have a conversation about this is what I will this is how I'll be performing today, and based on that you can, adapt the class to your needs.
Yeah, actually, I've never observed it in that case, like as per my body, but I do feel like some days it's like very exhausting. I'll be feeling very, very tired. And the movements also, I notice that uh, they'll be like very simple. The ones one day it'll be very simple, other day I won't be doing the same pose with the same ease and flexibility.
Yeah.
Is it also related to this cycle change and all?
Absolutely. Cycle change, it could be related to your sleep and other hormonal changes related to, say, what you're eating. And there are so many factors influencing how you feel during exercise and your recovery. But for women, cycles are a major factor in how you feel. So that awareness itself brings a lot of clarity as to why you're feeling how you're feeling, and based on that you can adjust your workout. As I said, you don't have to go full intensity when on days when your body's clearly telling you that it's not up for it. Instead, negotiate with your teacher that I'll do like a half a class, or like the parts that are more rigorous, you may skip those parts. So you can do that.
Okay. Yeah. Thank you.
Sure. Thanks for your question. All right, let's talk about meal times. So, meal times, this habit is about mealtime rituals. And the next habit is also going to be rituals related to mealtime. It's post mealtime rituals. So, these two habits are around meal times. And let's talk about firstly why meal times are important. We often focus a lot on what to eat, whether something's healthy or organic or high protein or low carb and all of that. We're hyper focused on what we eat. But Ayurveda reminds us that how we eat is as important as what we eat. Excuse me. How we eat is equally important. So think about it. We eat 2 or 3 times every single day, right? And that gives us repeated opportunities to actually positively influence our digestion, our metabolism, our energy, and even our emotional relationship with food. So, when we eat while we are stressed or distracted, or standing, or when we're rushed, our body is not fully prepared to digest. Even healthy food may not be processed optimally, and that contributes to bloating or heaviness or cravings and energy crashes. On the other hand, when we take a few moments to slow down and become present and approach meals with more gratitude and presence, our body shifts into a relaxed state. And digestion becomes stronger, your absorption of nutrients improves, and your meals become more satisfying. So it's important to use this opportunity of mealtime to positively influence all of these, like digestion, our energy, and our emotional relationship with food. So, this habit is about creating simple rituals before and during our meals so that eating is not just a routine task, it becomes a daily wellness practice. It's a great opportunity to convert something you have to do every day into more of a wellness practice. So, even small changes during your meals and before your meals can have a profound impact over time. So it's think of it as one of the highest ROI, like return on investment you can make in your health. It's not something extra that you add to your day or routine. It's what you're already doing every day, what you have to do, but doing it more consciously. So, when we consistently approach our meal times with more awareness and simple rituals, the benefits can be profound. First and foremost, our digestion improves. Your body is better able to break down food, absorb nutrients, and convert all that nourishment into energy that can be used. And these practices also help regulate your blood sugar, which can reduce cravings and prevent the highs and lows that many of us experience after eating. And meals can become more satisfying, and we're less likely to overeat because we are more connected to our body's signals of hunger and fullness. And beyond digestion, our mealtime rituals can also help calm our nervous system, and eating can become a moment to pause, reset, and reconnect rather than another rushed task in the day. So, over time, this improves our emotional relationship with food and also creates this greater sense of nourishment and contentment. So, food itself, even if the food itself is healthy, digestion may be compromised if we do not actually practice mindful eating. So, in many ways, mealtime rituals offer this opportunity to change that relationship with food. So, let's talk about the 3 phases of mealtime rituals and what we're going to cover today. It helps you think of it in 3 distinct phases: before a meal, pre-meal, and the second phase is during the meal, and third is post-meal. This habit is about pre-meal and during meal rituals, mealtime, and we're gonna cover post-meal rituals in the next habit. Pre-meal rituals help prepare the body and mind to receive nourishment, right? This includes something like a presence pause or a few calming breaths or a moment of gratitude. any sort of intentional and conscious pause before your mealtime, just to bring your awareness and attention back from the activity that you may be doing to meals, to eating. And this shifts the body into a more relaxed and rest and digest state before you start eating. During meal rituals, focus on how you eat, like sitting down or minimizing distractions and being fully present with the experience of eating. This can improve digestion, it increases satisfaction, and it helps us better recognize our hunger and fullness signals. And post meal rituals support the digestive process after eating. So, we're going to cover practices such as a 100-step walk or sitting in Vajrasan or diamond pose, which all help with your digestion post meal and also manages the blood sugar regulation and various other things. We're going to talk about them in detail in the next habit. So, together, these three phases turn eating from routine activity into a actual conscious practice. So, that's our goal with these two habits. Let's talk about pre meal rituals. So, excuse me, before we start eating and focus on what we're eating in the first place, it's important to pay attention to the state that we are in when we begin the meal. It's so important. Even in our culture, in Indian culture, they say do not eat a meal when you're sad, when you're grieving, or when you're angry. It's because the state that we're in when we eat something actually impacts the energy of what we're eating and how we're going to digest it and how it impacts our system. So it's important that we take a pause to consciously shift our energy and awareness before we start eating. Most of us move from one activity to another during the day, and maybe we're working or checking our phones or caring for children or doing other activities, and then we start eating in the middle of it without any transition. So what when you do this, the body and mind are still in a doing mode, right? So this pre-meal rituals, they create a small but very powerful pause between the activity of the day and the act of eating. And this pause signals the body that it's safe to slow down and receive nourishment. So there are two options here that I've listed. You can practice one of this or both of these. And the variation of like presence, pause, and breath regulation that you must be doing now every day. If you can do that before meal, that's a great way to relax instantly. And even a few calm breaths, even if you can't sit for a minute, close your eyes and do a presence pause. Even three calm, long, deep breaths can help settle the nervous system and shift the body into that rest and digest state. And remember that digestion actually begins long before the food actually reaches the stomach. That digestion begins when you actually look at your food, when you smell your food. So this moment of presence where you're bringing your body, telling your body that you're gonna start eating, that's where digestion actually starts. So this pause could be really useful for that. And second option you can do before your meals is doing a moment of prayer, a gratitude, taking a moment to acknowledge the food and all the forces that brought it to your plate. This creates a sense of appreciation, a sense of reverence. And this helps actually connect with your food better, and your body can assimilate and take that in much, much better. Your digestion improves if you are able to connect with your food and be grateful for it. So no matter what you're eating, sometimes you may not be able to eat the most healthiest of foods. Even in those cases, you be grateful for what you have to eat and just take a moment to acknowledge that this food is nourishing you, and that changes the energy of how the food impacts your body. So, gratitude has this calming effect on mind as well, and it helps us begin the meal with more awareness. So, these practices take only a few seconds, but they can dramatically change the quality of the meal. And over time, these improves our digestion, they reduce stress overall, and have the food that we're eating nourish us better. So these are the two practices you can um, pick from and try these out this week and see what sticks with you and see what's more feasible with your routine. And you can implement it for the next week. Any questions on this? All right. Let's move on to during meal rituals. So, during the meal itself, the goal is to create the conditions for the body to digest efficiently again, and also for the mind to fully experience the meal. So, the first recommendation is sitting down and creating a calm environment for our mealtime. Many of us multitask while we eat, and most of us don't get the opportunity to create this environment. We may be eating as we're driving or working or standing. That removes that presence out of that meal. When we send a clear signal to the body that this is a dedicated time for meal, or when you're nourishing your body, that helps activate the rest and digest response, and it improves digestion and assimilation of nutrients a lot. So this is going to be very helpful if you can actually sit down and eat. And sitting down, when you sit down, when you have a base to your body, your circulation also is different. So the food that you receive is going to be actually assimilated well in the case of sitting down versus standing up and eating. And the second recommendation is minimizing distractions and actually experiencing your meal with all of your senses. Many of us, needless to say, are addicted to screens, and we treat meal times as an opportunity to like just watch something and hold our plate and eat our food as we watch something. And it's even tough when you try not to do it. If you're used to watching screens when you eat, it's going to be tough to stop doing that because your mind is all over the place. You have a lot of thoughts. So the first step, if you do a pre-meal ritual like a presence pause, that's going to make you actually feel calmer during meal. So you can put your screen away and be present with your meal. And when you are eating, become aware of the taste of the food, the texture of your food, the ingredients. Just be more present with what you're eating, and the gradual sense of satisfaction as you eat, the gradual sense of satisfaction that develops is something that you should notice too. And this awareness has several benefits. Firstly, meals become more enjoyable and more satisfying, and we're better able to recognize our hunger and fullness cues as well. And that reduces overeating, because the more satisfying the meal is, the less of food, the less content of food you will need, and cravings also decrease. So, when these two practices are combined, our digestion tends to improve and our nutrition absorption is going to improve. And overall, our meals can become more intentional. So, these rituals are about allowing the body and mind to be fully engaged in this act of nourishment. The same meal, the same thing you eat, can impact your body very differently based on how you eat it. So, remember this. This is the key takeaway for this session. And this week is Awareness Week. So, I introduced you to few rituals and suggestions. I would like you to use this week to mostly observe what your current mealtime habits look like. As with all of our habits, awareness comes first. So, even before you introduce or start doing these rituals, just understand and observe how you approach your meals today. For the pre meal awareness, notice what typically happens just before you eat. Do you pause at all or do you move straight into the meal? Do you sit down to eat? Do you begin eating in a rush state or a calm state? And how do you transition into eating? Is there any conscious pause or um, do you multitask when you eat? So, this is a powerful question because it helps you recognize whether there's an intentional bridge between your daily activities and this act of eating and this act of nourishment. And during meals, observe how you eat usually. Do you sit down? Do you often talk while you eat? Are you present with your food or you're being distracted with watching a phone or television or multitasking? And how aware are you of the taste of the food, of the texture of the food? Do you eat with your hands or do you use cutlery? And do you notice when you actually feel satisfied or full? And how good is this signal to you? Do you often tend to overeat? Don't judge yourself about any of these. Just simply, excuse me, just simply observe what your current patterns are. It's okay if you're way off from the suggested recommendations. Just simply observe and start to, when you really are present and aware of your current patterns, change starts to happen on its own. You may begin to notice how rushed meals affect digestion or how distraction impacts this satisfaction and fullness. And you'll have a much clearer picture of your current routine and how you can implement these suggestions. So that's it for this week. Any questions? All right. Thank you all for joining again. If you don't have any questions, I'll let you go.